Okay, we're out here with Reheart Seattle again. Andrea Suarez, the one and only. Okay, wait, you were just telling me. So we're going into a location right now with Lex, and we're going to talk about options for her. But you were telling me when you came out here to do outreach from that pole all the way down. I do, but I've had it on my face.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's
here.
fine.
Do you care?
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
That's
done.
clean too.
Okay, so how far? Tell me the areas.
Mother's Day.
I need to call.
Yep, just meet us in the back.
The back that way?
No, the front back, by the pool tables.
Pool tables.
We were featured in a news story, and some business owners gave us a call and said, gosh, you know, we would sure like to have your outreach come down in this alleyway here in Sodo. And we went to my high impact volunteers the next morning. We're like, is anybody doing anything for Mother's Day? And there was about 20 people that were like, no. So we came down here Mother's Day and cleaned and did outreach and helped people get, in some cases, some fresh, you know, tents, and people were living on top of piles of garbage and rats and needles, and they were so thrilled that we were here to help them clean up. And you know, just even a sanctioned camp needs to be moved every 3 to 4 months for good reason, just because the deterioration of the environment around RVs and tents. The rats are just, that's the worst of it, the rat nets.
I don't think anybody thinks about, like, that's just not reality. Like, we don't think about that. Like, that it needs to be moved every 3 to 4 months because the area around is deteriorating and collecting bad, you know, rats, like you've been saying.
Yeah, and it's just being a good neighbor. Sanctioned camps are the same way, and so it's not foreign for people to hear, hey, we need to clean up around your area, your tents collapse, there's rat nests everywhere. It's been maintained since May. I mean, there's one person that moved into the area. This is a very popular area for tailgating. I will say with Lexi on our drive over here, she said, I just don't know why you guys are doing this for me. And that just broke my heart. Like that, I've heard that so many times when people get that daily intensive outreach. Like, why are you doing this? I've had a man write me, he's like, I don't believe you. I can't trust you. I don't understand why you're so nice. Or so, like, in some cases, demanding. I'm actually pretty demanding. Like,
she's actually a little dynamite. You are. Dynamite comes in small packages, sister. So,
well,
but yeah, I mean,
that's true. But
you're right.
And another gentleman from the camp from yesterday, we touched base again on getting him on his methadone program. We touched base again today. I said we're going to walk in tomorrow at 7:30. He says I'll be here. Okay. And so I'll be going back to the camp tomorrow at 7:30. I'm going to be going back tomorrow at 7. So just you guys are here again. Yep. But you know, that makes, you know, Lexi's the same person that also said, why did you allow me to stay here this long in the first place? Now I got to figure out sort of the right thing to do. And who are you and why do you, what compels you to care? And it's just like, we need just all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. No man left behind.
Yeah.
No one left behind. We need to help these, especially an 18-year-old. She's definitely worth saving. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody's worth saving. But we're here trying to help Lex today. I'm going to grab my microphone out so we can make sure we can hear a little bit better. We're going to jump in here. Lex is actually going to get on a call. She's actually going to get on a call. And they're going to talk about options for relocating her. So we met Lex yesterday, if you remember, and she is a young woman. She's 18, and she has a myriad of health issues, just a bunch of different health problems. And she right now is living in an RV in the Sodo neighborhood. So we are trying to hopefully get her some kind of assistance to relocate her. Andrea's doing, you know, being her amazing self and doing her outreach right now. She's honestly such an inspiration. She's a godsend, Okay, sorry friends. I'm getting my microphone out of my bag really quick while you guys are on here with me. I want to make sure that you guys can hear when we go inside. So I'm just going to clip this little guy onto me. Low key, right? Thanks for bearing with me. This is like a fun project that we all get to be a part of together. Okay, friends. Hello. sorry. You guys are fine though. You're brutal. You're gritty with me. Getting gritty with it. Na 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 na. Okay. A lot better now. Yeah? Yes? Yes? I bet you that bothers your ear holes. Sorry. Okay. Okay. We're gonna go in and be a little discreet as to not stress her out. We don't want to stress anybody out. Or stay out of her face.
She probably doesn't want to.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping this out of her face. For sure. Respect first. What?
She said that she's nodding off.
Okay. 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 We're gonna go in here. See what's going on. She's like a pizza.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Iced tea and a pizza?
Yeah.
Pepperoni?
ooh.
Or sausage?
Oh, no.
Cheese. Pepperoni?
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
What, Robin?
You're talking with Robin right now? Okay. Really quick, because I forgot something out here. But while I step outside and can give you guys some, like, okay, there we go. A briefing of what's going on if you guys are just joining us. So we are back here in Seattle in the Sodo neighborhood with Lex once again. She's an 18-year-old homeless woman who's open to the idea of relocating, open to the idea of getting some medical help, to getting sober, to getting really on the path to a new life and to that second chance, right? So she's been homeless since she was 12. She has a lot of health issues. I brought her some clothing and some shoes today. Unfortunately, shoes didn't fit, so I have to go back and find her some new ones. But right now, she's actually talking with a resource center, basically, that helps youth, and that will be like the stepping stone in between where she's at right now and kind of help her get into the next space for herself and for her safety. So right now they're talking about options. When we walked in there, they were talking about potentially having her have access to a walk-in clinic for those first steps, because she has admittedly told us that she is addicted to drugs. Right now she's addicted to fentanyl, so she kind of needs to be on something pretty regularly. She does want help though, and that's the biggest thing, is accepting or knowing you want help and being willing to accept it. Earlier on, I shared a video of Tracy, and she was openly talking about how she has had opportunities as someone who's been living on the streets. She has had options, but she wasn't willing to accept the help that was being offered to her. I think that's really important that we understand that, because not all scenarios are alike. These are all very unique situations, and these people are all in these situations because of circumstances that they were in. They all have very different stories. So right now we're learning about Lex, and we're hoping that we can kind of stay along with her story and document her success as we see it. So right now we are in a bar in Sodo, and she is talking with a resource center right now about any potential options for relocating, which is kind of cool. So I'm out here again with Andrea. She's with We Heart Seattle. You guys, if you watched yesterday, if you haven't yet, I would really encourage you to get on there and check it out. But we were out in the Sodo neighborhood doing some outreach yesterday, and just some insight into We Heart Seattle and who Andrea Suarez is. So she has a different job, completely different job that she gets paid to do. But last year in October, she was walking around and there was just so much garbage and so many issues, and she knew she needed to do something, and she knew she needed to help people. So she started We Heart Seattle out of the need that she saw, and has been doing it not even for a year, and she just goes out and does boots on the ground outreach, daily outreach in the same camps, so that the people can start trusting her. She just told me, she said on her way over here, she drove Lex over here, and Lex said, "Why are you guys doing this? You know, why are you doing this for me?" And she's an 18-year-old girl. That, you know, I mean, you're a human being. God put you here and doesn't make mistakes, so we're here to help. We're here to do anything we can. So you're always doing outreach. Always.
You have to.
Yeah. What did you learn?
My husband sometimes says, you know, we're walking to the game or we're walking to the store, and you get used to stopping and talking to everybody and seeing how they're doing and what they need, and you just never know when someone says, I need your phone right now, I'm actually ready to call my mom and tell her where I'm at.
Oh, wow.
Even that's a win.
Huge. I mean, we've been talking about the little victories and just how important it is to have that regular connection. Tell me why you have seen that as kind of a way of being successful out here in Seattle. I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but why has your attention regularly made a difference?
It's boots on the ground every day builds trust in what's been an untrusting system. It's kind of like I don't know.
Why is it an untrusting system? Like because a lot of us don't know, right? We haven't had to go through it, A, and B, we haven't had to submerge ourselves in it enough to know exactly what's going on, right? Like, are there options and people just don't want them? Are there not? Is it you go into this situation and it's not a safe one? What are we dealing with?
There's just 12,000 people here that have come to Seattle throughout King County looking for services, and we just don't have enough to provide. I mean, it is a limited resource. I look at it, and if we can remove a barrier every single day in somebody's life to get them closer towards healing in a variety of ways, you're moving them closer to not being homeless anymore. And so that daily intensive outreach builds, I mean, just simply somebody willing to give you their name and information and be able to order their ID for them. You know, not everybody's willing to say there's something other than their nickname. And so eventually you're not going anywhere. You know, bringing obviously basic needs is helpful. But building trust every day and somebody that shows up every day, it's like any relationship. You know, when you're in a new relationship and somebody kind of goes that extra day without calling you, you're like, oh my gosh, that person doesn't like me anymore.
I never even thought
I feel abandoned. They're not going to call me back. And then we talk about what's it mean when someone doesn't call me back after 3 days and, you know, they're just not that into you. I mean, it kind of isn't that same, not to mock it, but
I didn't even think about it that way.
It's that daily recurring, they showed up every single day and made a presence in my life. And if we did hyper-local outreach like that in every encampment, every alleyway, every park, every shared space, and came out in higher numbers, I think we could make a bigger dent in this crisis.
Have you had conversations with city leaders and things like that about what you see as an opportunity or a need or as a success?
Well, one thing that was great with what Colleen Echo Hawk, of course she didn't advance, but she said, you know, the first thing she was going to do in her 21-point plan was put 100 more outreach workers on the streets. And I was like, absolutely, we need 1,000. We need less 7-figure studies and less 6-figure salaries and more boots on the ground. I mean, I don't care if it's the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, high schoolers, book clubs, every organization, when they think
Make it a field trip.
Make it a field trip. There was
learning experience.
Sadly, I was at a vigil out at Bitter Lake. It absolutely broke my heart because this kid died on my watch. I was doing intensive outreach with him. And I learned that he had overdosed. And when we were at his vigil, another homeless person came into the vigil. He says, look, I'm new to Bitter Lake. I don't know anybody. But what I will tell you, it's not the drugs. It's what the drugs cover up. And he said, if one person just walked by me and talked to me a little bit more, I would do less drugs. Just a little more connection. It wasn't, and that I was so profound. He's like, stop walking by me.
Please.
Tracy has arrived.
Hey.
I could go on that from last night on what happened with the pizza. People walking by, the ones doing the drugs, and offered it to me, at which I turned her, I said thank you, and turned and gave it straight to the people that they walked by.
Yeah. Oh, right.
She was just showing me foster home abuse, this and that. So I said, hold on.
Okay. I think we need you.
And she loved the medical idea, walking clinics, so if you can, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow morning.
And I was wrong for me. It's not Lux. It's Lux. L-U-X.
I thought that was okay.
I was wrong. It's Lux.
Lux, like
I was
Lux.
like Lux, yeah.
Like Lux,
We
girl.
have a pizza on order.
All right.
You doing okay?
So what do you think? What did you learn?
Oh, she told me that this walking clinic thing. They said they just going to help. What was it called again?
Seymour.
Seymour's walking.
Seymour has to walk in. She's going to send the information to me and Lux so that we have that. And then there was more information.
Okay.
Which I think it's a good thing to bring that first. Because with all my health issues, I just recently actually stopped kind of seeing my specialist as much. I think it's a really important first thing. I mean, physical health is important.
Oh yeah.
I've been noticing a lot of things with my lupus and stuff that I probably should have been going to a doctor.
You have lupus as well?
Yeah. Well, early, what is it called? Like clinically, they called it like early onset, like signs of, because they can't diagnose you with full-on lupus until you're a little bit older, just because it takes a little bit, but it's a genetic issue, so.
And then you were telling me yesterday you have rheumatoid arthritis too. Wow.
I'm going down that train.
Oh no.
Genetics.
It is, huh? I know, me
I
too.
feel the worst. Fucking, oh my god, I got all my health issues from my mom and all my mental health issues from my dad's side. So my mom gave me like lupus, fucking fibromyalgia, as they said are beginning signs of. I don't have it yet clinically, but arthritis, everything under the sun.
Oh my gosh. It's because you're meant to be a massive person. You have so much going on and you're meant to be great and huge and big, and you know, it's unfortunate, but maybe you're a superhero. Maybe all of those things make you a superhero. But just the fact that you are talking about your future is huge, Lux. That's really cool. How do you feel? Scared? Excited? Nervous?
Overwhelmed, but not
Yeah.
as, like, I mean, I feel a little bit more open to it, if that makes sense. Like,
That's
it's
cool.
still overwhelmed, but like, less like shut down kind of overwhelmed, if that makes sense. Like, a little bit more like, less scared overwhelmed and more just excited overwhelmed, if that makes sense.
That's good.
That's good.
I like
That's
that.
good.
That's a good.
good.
That's good. The word excited is good, sis. We like that. We like that.
Got chills again. I am gonna go check on the pizza. Would you ladies like anything to sip on while we're here?
Water.
More water?
Water.
I need
You want me to get you a 5-hour energy drink? Because I have to say, I spotted those in your car when I was moving it. And I'm like, that's how this
No, I already had one today.
stays in shape. She's
I
burning
used
a 5-hour
to-
energy
I already
drink.
had one.
Full throttle, the blue
All I
Genius.
do is
That's
drink the
what I
5 hours. Well, because I had to quit caffeine with my medical condition, so I couldn't drink coffee. But then I found out that the 5 hours, just that little amount of liquid, didn't like do a number on me. So I do that to stay alive. A 5-hour energy.
All right, I'm gonna
How
start
many
my day
hours
with
does it
those.
really last?
I mean, like 2, maybe. Like,
Where do you
right?
have another one?
Girl, when I was anchoring, I would take 2 in the mornings. I was on 2 5 hours with a 5-hour newscast. Everybody's listening, like, what? Yeah, I was very, very excited. Oh my gosh.
I asked you about shelters, and you started talking about what you've done. Can you start again? Since I immediately cut you off, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I can't.
Well, I was just saying how I don't really like shelters just because when I was a minor still, and I was always in and out of like foster cares and group homes and just so many different like shelters and shit that it's just fucking ruined for me because they're just
What was it that was like, was it that you had to go there in the first place that ruined it, or what happened there that ruined it for you?
I think a good mix of both because when you're a minor I have control issues. I don't like not having control over my own life. And when you're a minor, you have basically none, you know, because you're young and I don't know, you don't have that much say in all honesty. So they would force me to go to these places I wouldn't want to go to just because, you know, they can't just let me do what I want when I'm like 14, you know. So then when I was at those places, I'd say a good 70 to 80% of them were just shit places. It's just like people who just like the staff were just there because they were getting paid, you know, they weren't really that invested.
But it's that, I guess the argument would be that would be better than living on the streets, wouldn't it?
In some ways, yeah. Living on the, I
Tracy
don't like
says no.
in some ways.
Okay.
I don't like shelters, but that doesn't mean I love being homeless, you know, like it's not, that was not the only two options first off. And also, when you're young, and even now, in some ways, how do I put it? Being homeless is just it's an addiction, I think. I personally think being homeless is an addiction.
Can you tell me about that? Like, can you tell me, what is that? Yeah, tell me about why you think being homeless is like an addiction.
Because it's just this overwhelming sense of just pure freedom. You don't have to worry about it at all. Like you're
okay.
Like as a kid, where you're so, you know how I said, I feel like I want to be in more control of my life. The only times I felt like I did have any control over what I was doing when I was young, like when I was a kid, is when I could just go run around and do whatever the fuck I wanted, because nobody was telling me what to do. Nobody was, you know. And then that was like an exhilarating feeling, especially at first, especially before, you know, shit started to kind of happen, and you know.
So when you still felt like you were like high on life at that point, because you're like, oh yeah, like I can go do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do whatever drugs I want, and at that period of time in my life, I was just doing just that, whatever I wanted. Like,
how old were you at that point?
Well, I'd say it was like when I started to really like, because at first when I was like 12, I was kind of with my older sister a little bit.
Okay.
So it was a little bit less like that.
And they were that's when you were being forced in the shelters and all that.
Yeah, that would happen until I was 18. Really, like it's different as you get older, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And, I think that period of time where that was the most, like, what's it called, applicable or whatever the word is. It was probably when I was like 16. Is when that was like the highlight of that, where I just do whatever I wanted and just do a whole bunch of drugs and just like.
It was still fun?
It was fun at that point.
It was still fun.
In some ways.
Yeah.
In the moment, I could probably say it wasn't really that fun. But now especially when I look back on it, for some reason I'm like, I can say this. Does that make sense? Like I say it's fun now, but.
So are you now kind of like living off of that feeling then? Because you're saying it's kind of an addiction.
What I'm trying to say, what I'm thinking is it's almost like you remember that when you were homeless and you could do whatever you wanted, and you could do the drugs, and that feeling, that joy, that love that you got. Are you still? And the way I'm going to relate to this is an experience of using crack. You're still chasing that feeling.
Okay.
So like, as I said to you, I still remember that first hit of crack I got, where I was. So as an addict, and I remember the first book I was reading, I'll go down that whole thing, when Mom had to try and stop me. I'm addicted to everything. I remember this, that. So for me, I can tell you who was there, who said what I felt like with that.
Okay.
And you always want to get that feeling back and never could.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, yeah. Like, I'm like trying to recreate something that isn't going to happen again.
Okay. So is that maybe kind of why, have you come to the realization that it's not, and that's kind of why you're open to the next steps in your life?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so it took a little time.
And it also, even though that is the case, it's me trying to, recreate. It also wasn't just my own doing. It's partially not my choice, in a sense. Like, it's not fully. I'd like to say that every homeless person, there's a sliver that was they wanted it. Like, does that make sense? There's a little bit of the reason why they're there is personally chosen. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I thought it was for all of us. I thought we were all getting it.
That's for you, sis. We just ate. We already ate. Enjoy your pizza. But that makes sense. Okay, so you've kind of realized and accepted that's probably not in the path anymore. So what's the next step? What's the next step? How can you find joy or find peace or catharsis or whatever you're looking for in something else? Because you can't do that again, right? You're not gonna, you might do the exact same thing, but you're never gonna feel the exact same way. Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you for that insight.
I think another thing I've realized is that I'm not an invincible, like.
Did you think you were?
When I was younger, hell yeah. At some points.
Just push the reset button, you're good to go?
Yeah, it's like, I would just, what I would do is for that reset button is I would just switch towns.
Really?
I just bounce around. and
Really?
I was what I wanted to be, and if I didn't start to not like who I was becoming to the people around me, I just changed the people around me, the whole environment.
Change the people around you. You would go to a new camp, a new place.
Yeah, so I just completely switched.
Wow. And now you are starting to learn you're not invincible. You're in your place. You've been there for quite a while. But are you getting uncomfortable in your comfortability, kind of?
Yeah, and it's just doing that. It wears down on me physically, also. I'm starting to notice it kind of really affecting me.
Yeah, you're talking about all of your medical things, and you haven't been seeing your specialist, and you're probably feeling it all physically. Oh,
My hair has fallen off.
more of it has.
A lot of my hair. I used to have really thick hair, and after all the stress and stuff, it just comes out with bumps stuff.
And just like being malnourished because you're not really getting good nourishment and stuff too.
My guess was that it's a mix of like malnutrition and then also just like stress, the drugs.
Yeah.
Are you staying up for a lot of hours at a time? I don't know which
Yeah. What's your day like?
days you stay up at a time.
It used to be longer. Now I start to kind of get real iffy. I really need some sleep after like maybe 4 or 5 days now.
Fucking A.
4 or 5 days?
That's not that
You
much.
stay up for 4 or 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're iffy?
Yeah,
After.
but
Wait, what?
when I was like 14, I'd be up for like 2 weeks.
You're lying.
No, that's the meth.
What?
Meth.
And then when you do sleep, it's meth sleep.
It's
real
not.
It's meth sleep?
You're out. I mean, yeah.
But also, you're out, but you don't get.
You're not rested?
Yeah, you don't rest.
So, but now it's like a 4 or 5 day awake, and then how long do you sleep? How long do you rest?
8 hours. Max.
Yeah.
You're lying. You are up for 4 or 5 days, and then you maybe get 8 hours of rest in between?
Most, yeah.
When you were up for 2 weeks at a time, would you say that you started to have meth-induced hallucinations?
It's really bad.
Really?
One of the first times, back when I was like 13 or 14, it was one of the first times I'd stayed up. It was like 17 days or something wild like that.
17 days.
And I had a full-on hallucination where I was completely in my own world. I thought there was somebody chasing me, trying to rape me. I saw my dad get shot. I saw it was a crazy situation when it was just the middle of the night and I was alone in the room. And I ended up running out of this building. I thought it was burning, and oh my god, it was horrible.
Whoa. Wow. So that was a 17-day. Wow. And that's something that's very normal around the homeless camps? Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't know, but I like J&J, the folks living in the white van, she's got a little bit of an attitude with us right now. Mm-hmm. When I first met her about a week and a half ago, I came in kind of late at night. I have to admit, I got home from San Francisco and I pulled into your camp and somebody made me bacon. I don't know who it was, but I met most people there, and Jackie comes up to me and she goes, I gotta go to bed. Two nights is my max.
Jeff and Jackie.
Jeff and Jackie. She's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I've been up 2 nights. Nice to meet you. But you can do enough dope to stay up for 17 days. That is crazy. My big brother,
She's older.
talked about being up for days as well. He was
Okay, so this is my ignorance. I always feel like drugs make you pass out. What does?
Downers, heroin, something like
Heroin.
Okay.
What about
fentanyl?
The blue.
Fentanyl, it knocks you.
That one knocks you out, and that's what you guys are doing right now?
Yeah, but that's not the only drug I'm doing.
What do you guys do? What's that?
That's the baseline drug that I kind of not have to do, but
That's what's around, that's what sustains. Is that what sustains you then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what sustains me physically, and then the meth is what keeps me able to get up and get my fentanyl, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the fentanyl, if you don't do it, don't the withdrawals come?
Worst withdrawals I've ever experienced in my life.
Absolutely.
The fentanyl is the worst withdrawals?
It's probably, and I can
Really?
remember mine. Yeah, they're horrid.
And that's what's all over.
That's what,
Is that what the blues are?
Yeah, and aren't they putting that in the meth though? Can't people put that a little bit?
So what happened?
Oh, really?
$10 a pill on the street, right?
Oh, about that. I can get it for
$7.
cheaper in some places I charge.
She can get it
I can get it for like
cheaper than
five a pop, but that's not very. But it's, the more you buy, the cheaper it'll be, and
Oh, they give you a discount
yeah,
if you buy more.
They give you a discount
Right.
to kill you.
Yeah.
They're killing you. They're murderers.
Yes, they are murderers.
The dealers and pushers are murdering you.
Yes.
And we need to change the way we talk about that. They're murdering you. It's manslaughter.
It's you can go. I have a friend whose cousin was
Selling those drugs.
and he went to jail. He's in prison now for life in Alaska.
Wow.
Because he killed so many people with his fentanyl. It's real.
I mean, McDonald's killed all these people for making them get a little too overweight with the supersized fries and Coke. And look at all the laws and regulations we now have around pop and burgers and high fructose.
Well, someone got burned with a coffee, and we have sleeves.
But
coffee. No, there's no.
Fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like just
let
bring
it in.
Unregulated.
Let it go.
Okay,
But then we also decriminalized all the drugs in Seattle.
Also talk about
that
the
didn't work
doctors
very
that
well.
prescribe it now, and I mean we can go
You what?
down the whole thing because they get paid.
I feel like this is the new View.
This is. Let's just hang
Like,
out.
where's Whoopi Goldberg?
I know. We need a host.
I mean, it's just I'm just dying over here.
That is-
I have so much that I'm just doing this today.
Yeah, it's. This is
So-
thank you, Lux, for telling me. I think that what's really important is what's happening in Seattle isn't just a Seattle-centered problem.
No.
Because like you said, you're going to move from town to town, you're going to move around, and you guys are our citizens. You do live among us, you live in our state, and we, you're human beings. So, okay. So I would love for some kind of outreach, for some kind of change in our city, but I don't know what the solution is.
I think a lot of the time, like the city, like the King County people, their idea of a solution is to just suppress. You know what I mean? Not necessarily 100%. Like I know, like the King County people came and gave us food earlier. Like they're not horrible, but I think overall, kind of their idea of it is just like. You know when they're trying to like de-ghetto a town and they just start to make real fancy stuff and clean everything up and then just push everyone push homeless in another direction? How is that solving it? It's just moving to a different place and it's just,
So then what's the solution? Like what is it more like how Andrea's saying, more boots on the ground, more outreach? Is it more mental health people?
And showing that there is people because you realize when you're homeless and you're walking around the streets and stuff, that is the feeling, that is the worst, most alone, like empty, like hopeless feeling. Like there is a lot of people who are here to do reach, but that's maybe like 5% of homeless people. There's so many people who that don't sleep at the main camps, that don't get these people coming and helping them, and it's just like if there was more and people were shown that there is an option, and there's people who don't even know what reach is. There's a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
They've never even experienced some kind of someone coming up and having a conversation with them.
Well, let's say, I think a better way of putting it is people coming up and giving the hygiene bags and the food, and that's it. Of course, you don't have to give them stuff to do something,
right?
But that kind of action.
Taking the time and the action. Okay. So now, like you said,
Now, where do I go?
Okay, and so then you go and get high because you failed. Is that what happens?
Basically, yes.
Because you're saying, oh, we have openings, but now you can't take me. Or where do you even go to get an ID? I just found out Uplift, they will help you, or the Commons down on Aurora. Okay,
but if you don't know, so they don't help you get an ID. Right. They just shut the door.
Right. Nope. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, when you do call us back, we'll see if we have an opening clip.
Okay. Period. Is that what you experienced too, Lex? Is that like you're like, okay, well, I tried. I did the due diligence. I tried to fix myself and I failed. I got the door shut in my face.
When you're feeling so low, okay, and you muster up that courage to make that call. Okay, I'm ready, right?
Yeah.
Door shut again.
Yeah.
Jesus, and it's hard just to do that. It's the encampment, and I will say this, why can't you just go get a job? Well, here I'm in this encampment, but in order to even go take a shower, I had to take 2 buses. Then I had to wait at the shower place for 2 hours to take a cold shower, to take two more buses to get home. So if I showered that day and I had lunch, that was all day.
Yeah.
So then on top of it, so there's things. I mean, it's more to it than just go get your ID.
Yeah. But so for us, right? Because we're sitting here, the outside looking in, we're like, go get an ID. What's the problem?
Right. Okay. So
it is a problem.
Have to find a place, and then you have to make an appointment. Then you go in, and then we'll help you. We get your information. All right. And then,
but do you even have information to provide?
Well, they'll give you a mailing center. There, you can get it at the Commons. Uplift. I don't know how Uplift works.
But it can't be that easy, right? Because you can't just walk in and say, "Hi, I'm Lux. Give me my ID."
You can't go to the DMV.
Right. You need some kind of some kind of help.
POL or whatever it is. You can't.
You have your ID?
I have my SSN number memorized. That's it.
Okay, so you know your social security number. Okay.
Really good.
Yeah.
That is a lot, and a lot of homeless people don't even know that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm learning about the IDs and how hard it is to get from one point to the next, because we really do, as I mentioned, from the outside looking in, we go, well, if you want a house, go get an ID. If you want a place to live, go get sober, go get clean, go get a job. It's so easy for us to say as like armchair quarterbacks, right? Yeah, for sure. We always are the backseat driver sitting here calling out the directions, but I want to know from you what you guys are actually experiencing and how can it be easier? I know Andrea is helping and doing what she can, but how could it be easier for you to get an ID?
I have no idea.
I think
I guess that's a good start.
I mean,
maybe we can make your IDs more accessible.
I think the ID has a good amount to do with it, but I personally think that the reason why, when you're homeless, even if, like how she said, like when you're on the phone they say you need an ID and the door's shut, that isn't necessarily, sometimes it's not that. Sometimes they say you don't need an ID, but can you come in for an appointment on this day? But
there you go.
When you're homeless, it's hard to have motivation, even though it sounds so simple, you just get so stuck in this way of this is how I am, and it's easier. It's selfish sounding, but it's easier to sit there and do drugs all day in some ways.
It is.
A lot of ways it's not
right.
easier. A lot of ways it's a lot harder, but it's kind of, it's not necessarily, it really isn't that hard to get.
So how do we make it friction free?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
How do we bring almost like,
not bring it to you, but almost.
I'm not known for bringing people tent-side pallets of water and food and ice. I mean, like you said earlier on the.
But you'd be helping them with IDs.
I'm helping with IDs.
Yeah.
Like work boots. But she told me on the way over here, she goes, King County came this morning, and brought the Gatorade and the water and the clean rigs and the bubbles and the tourniquets this morning.
So wait a minute.
So heroin dabbers. So King County came this morning. That's that. 2 cases of water and the Gatorade you saw.
Oh, okay.
That was King County. And bubbles or crack pipes, heroin dabbers, tourniquets was brought to her.
Supply them?
Tent side. And I was like, I care about that, but as a trash eradication maniac, the thing that you told me that pisses me off more than anything, I mean, is that you're like, they brought us so much more food. We haven't even eaten the food that they brought last time.
And you were saying that's the rats problem.
They're feeding the rats. And every single person.
So King County is not taking the pulse, it sounds like. They don't even know what is needed in our camps. They're like, water here.
They think
water here. Okay.
They think they're helping.
So what can we do? Have a powwow with King County? What can we do?
King County County people aren't going to change. County
You should
people
say,
are good.
Lex, I'm going to see if you would like to walk down to Evergreen Treatment.
That's what I'm saying. Is did they
7:30.
even offer you any kind of resources?
No, they
'Cause
give you all the paraphernalia, and here's the other thing.
So they
the
gave
free
you-
bubbles, and the I'm mad right now. So all of that, right? It used to be what, $5.50 for a pipe. Now we're doing that. So I'm not only am I giving
So they're
you the
giving us
I'm letting
the
you
pipes.
keep the money to buy the pipe. So I'm helping you.
Get
This is what they're
drugs.
doing. I'm helping you put more drugs in that pipe. Furthermore,
Wait, so King County dropped off pipes for you
getting them
today.
high, and they're
It
taking
is
that
good
absolutely. They're
to
giving
an
you more money to
extent,
put the drugs.
as long
So
as
what they're
they're
doing is they're helping the drug dealers because they're giving more money
out
to
of
the
your
person that wants the drugs.
Giving it to you. You know,
Here we go.
Give it to you
There-
along with the resources.
Why are they giving you guys pipes?
So listen to this. They're helping. But they're
Harm
helping.
reduction?
They're helping the
So you're not
dealers.
sharing pipes with.
You know what that is? You don't know what that is? Harm reduction? Oh my god. I live for harm reduction.
Harm
Harm reduction is the
reduction.
reason I'm still here.
Harm reduction.
Doing things, because we're going to do drugs. But
Yes.
harm reduction is doing drugs safer.
Okay, so it'd be like a safe injection site.
Yeah.
That's what they're.
I understand that.
So you don't blow up your veins, stuff like I'm not saying I fully agree with it, but I fully agree with it in some
Do
Okay.
you share your pipe with anyone? If someone
Not
comes in and has
anymore.
a,
Fuck no.
if
Not
someone
anymore.
comes in and has a bubble,
I
and you
have-
don't have any,
What I do, I have a little extender tube that I put on their bubble and I hit that.
And that's
my
because of
little
the pandemic or what?
tube. Yeah, and
Okay.
because I have glucose either way. I used to do it beforehand.
Okay.
Before COVID, I would do it.
So, but they're
Do
coming
most
in and they're
people?
they're enabling you to
Right,
do drugs, but they're not supplying you any resources on how to get out of that situation.
It's harder to get resources. You kind of have to like.
No, but they could give you a booklet
I
of
think they
here
should
are
basically-
here are camps, here are things. Is that
You have
because
to
they
ask
could?
for it. You have to ask for it and stuff.
I'm going to go out on I'm going to go out on a non-journalistic limb here and just say if you're going to drop off pallets of water and Gatorade to a homeless camp, you can drop off a stack of pamphlets that give you resources. I am sorry, but that should be SOP. That should be standard operating procedure. If you're going to enable these people and give them crack pipes, you should be dropping off resources for them to get clean if they want to.
Whether or not they want the pamphlet.
Exactly. It should be there. If you're wiping your butt with it, I don't care, but it should be there. It should. You got, just like you said, it's impossible to find the homes. So then why are they giving you pipes, but they're not giving you a home? Okay, I'm gonna have to follow up on that one
Yeah,
because my biscuits are burning.
Yeah, one of the early on adventures I did in this We Heart movement is I went to the People's Harm Reduction.org website and I was just exploring.
PeoplesHarmReduction.org. Okay.
And we have tax dollars that fund this
Yes.
organization. And I was like, I'm going to buy everything I possibly can as an alias. I put down my dog's name. I gave him my address. Shipping was free. I bought 10 pounds of cookers, tourniquets, cocaine cutters, bubbles. I even got CBD, which was laid.
I need CBD so bad. I love CBD. CBD is legal.
Oh yeah, okay. I've got some balm I'll bring you later.
Oh, fuck yeah. I like this.
I might have some drops too. But I maybe have something I can give too. But I got to change the shoes out anyway, so we'll figure that out.
CBD flower, like CBD weed, better than THC, or the CBD cigarettes. Because smoking it helps me not smoke cigarettes and stuff.
Perfect.
Oh,
So that's
interesting.
a reduction I can get behind.
That I can get behind CBD. Weaning you off of cigarettes to do CBD, fine.
But I
Fine.
ordered 10 pounds of all of this stuff.
That's what I'm doing with the
I poured
vape.
it on my living room floor, and I was like, I got this for free. It was shipped to my address. There was no flyer or no mention of, can we help you get off drugs? And I exposed that very early on my social media page.
wild.
And it's like,
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do one of those too.
what?
That's in our state
Yeah.
alone, or is that
Down here, right?
nationwide?
just go to People's Harm Reduction.
But that's in our state.
Yeah.
That's we're paying for that.
Yes, your tax dollars are supporting that.
Hey,
Okay, that is something that we learned today.
what?
The peoplesharmreduction.org is a website that is basic. The
So give everyone
peoplesharmreduction.org
in it-
is our taxpayer dollars. And she said she went on there and used an alias, used her dog's name, and bought 10 pounds of
Drug paraphernalia.
drug paraphernalia of all kinds, didn't get charged or any of it, free shipping, and not a single pamphlet or flyer that said, if you want help, or if you want an alternate means to a different life, here you
I'm gonna
go.
say something about this pass out level and all this and all
I don't know how I feel about that.
You're taking the money. If what she said you can do, you have your own little thing to put on the tube, then give that.
Give the tube.
Give the
Why are you
tube
giving
to
them the
put
crack
on
pipes?
pipe. Why are you giving them?
Yeah, pass around little straws then.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're handing out
I had to go
pipes.
take a break so I would shut my mouth during that. I just shame on them.
Girl,
Shame
I
on
can't. Here's the thing. okay, if you're going to do this harm reduction, the pamphlet's got to be there. You gotta give a freaking tool.
A warning label. I don't know. Using too many of these.
You can't just pass it out and walk away and then expect the problem to get any better.
There's a warning label on everything. Was there a warning label on anything?
No.
Shooting up too much may cause you to die.
And our taxpayer dollars are paying for that.
Staying up too many days smoking out of this bubble.
We need to ask questions. We need to be asking questions.
Or something.
And like we said, we understand what that need is because it didn't come out of nowhere. But if you're going to do that, there has to be an alternate resource. There has to be a way for someone to get help. You have to. You cannot just say, here's my nuclear bomb and walk away. And then expect it to be better when you go back and visit later, because it ain't going to be better.
I'm so not okay right now.
This is wild. We do need to have a view show.
I'm telling
you guys, we should just start a round table every day and do live, because my mind has been blown every day, and I live here. And every day I think, I know a lot about our city. I know I've covered a lot. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I knew about the safe injection sites because we've covered it.
Think about all the voters. Because
and yet we can't
get what you vote for, all the voters,
except for if it's car tabs. We ain't getting that.
Wait, but I thought they said that was $30. But then when you say it's not the 30,
it's not.
And everything.
No,
everyone voted and said
No. They stopped it. They overturned it.
I've not a car in forever, but you know what I mean.
So it passed, but they overturned it because they said it would annihilate our infrastructure, like our transit systems and stuff.
Free paraphernalia with no. Hey, if you don't want to use it,
But that's a different stream of funding, I'm sure. But yeah, I think we all agree that at the end of the day, the pamphlets, the resource needs to be provided.
You can walk in at 7:30 a.m. at Evergreen Treatment Services at these locations at any time, at any day, at Neighborhood Care, CMAR.
Here's phone numbers. Or here's where you can walk in at what times, and you can plan your life and your bus schedule. If you don't have a phone, you have hope.
You call this number, we will be there within a half hour.
Killing people. And
that's a bold statement.
People. It is a bold. You know what? What they're doing. Here's your bubble. As I just said this, right? Take that 550 away that an addict had to use. What they're doing now is taking that money and they're putting it in the drug dealer's pocket. Okay, and they're the ones killing people. And someone just got life in prison for killing someone with that. So King County, and I'm going to say it, is doing that. Period. That's my opinion.
Well, we'll have to have a conversation with King County for sure. Because
tell me how you're not. Tell me how
they're not doing something.
Give me anything to make me believe that they are not putting the money in the drug dealer's pockets.
Well, I mean, they would arguably say that they're coming out to help, to make sure that they're safe. Do you want to go outside?
I need to pee.
Let's go be outside. Oh, cool.
Bathrooms are that way.
You need to go? Okay. We're going to go outside.
If someone could tell me how they're not putting it in the
I would say that the argument, right, is that they're there to help and to make sure that people, if they are going to be doing these things that they know they're doing.
Shelter needing housing. And who's sitting there ready, tell me that.
We need to have a little combo. Maybe to encourage some paperwork if you're going to go out to the camps. Maybe I got to find out what Snohomish County is doing and etc. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't realize that they just make little visits and say here's some enabling things like food and water, but we're not going to give you any way to make your life better. It's disappointing. Sorry.
It's wasteful. Even down to the food, you're just. I'm sending you the phra.org.
Oh, thank you.
Going through the same discovery process I did 11 months ago.
Mind blowing.
And a lot of people do, but yay, you're an independent journalist.
Now,
you have the power to spread this word faster with your audience.
We do. Exactly. I know. You got a couple people on your page, but I have a couple more.
Yeah.
So hopefully people go, huh? And then demand accountability. That's the role that I am playing right now, is to just show you what I learn, and then we, and that's you included, have to go hold those people accountable. Emails to our leaders, those kinds of things. I'm going to reach out to King County today, but I will supply some emails as well if you guys feel compelled to reach out to our leaders as well. They are elected officials. They are supposed to be accessible to the public. After all, we put them there. So we'll find out. Where's the paperwork? I mean, that to me, it just feels like you don't want a change. To me, it feels like you are content with people staying where they are. If you're not supplying, right? Okay, so the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. How are those people going to get out if you're bringing them water and not giving them an option to get out? They have water to stay and live, right?
It keeps them stuck.
They what? It keeps you stuck.
And they even
Do you feel stuck? Wait.
They told us that they want us to all stay there because of quarantining. So
They want you to be there because you're quarantining.
Yeah, so they were saying you can't leave, just stay here. Here's all the things that you need, all the drug paraphernalia, all the...
Okay, so it's kind of like stay here.
It's their excuse is it's COVID. So
But prior to March 13th of 2020, what about all those other prior years where you were stuck? What was the excuse then?
They didn't have one then. They just brought, but now they're saying, oh, it's a pandemic. You guys are supposed to quarantine. We're bringing you all your own pipes. Okay, we had a question. Why can't they just give you guys the tubes that you're using? Why do they have to give you the whole pipe? You know how you said you have a little tube? Why can't they just hand that out?
I don't know.
Okay, so we don't know.
I tell you, that's very true.
Yeah, because maybe you don't need a bunch of bubblers.
You don't need a bubble to...
Maybe you need the tube.
Yeah, just a little piece of pipe tubing to just not share.
We don't know. We're learning and we're figuring out some solutions, but we're gonna have to start our own view roundtable. You down, Lux? You gonna? You got every day just sit and chat about what we see and what we know and how we can maybe fix it. I mean, the only way we're going to make a change is by talking, right? And by sharing your experience, because like you said, it's interpersonal connection. We don't know. We haven't lived your life. But holy cow, my eyes are open. My brains are exploded. They're scrambled eggs. I got to unpack this. All these people are like me, Lux. They don't know what this feels like. So hearing from you and hearing from Tracy, very real human beings that feel stuck, that have felt stuck, it's important to have those conversations because A, you don't want to be forgotten, right? You want people to care because that's what we were talking about. The feeling of not being cared about is what keeps you really stuck too, right? It's stop just walking past me. I'm here. I'm a human being.
That feeling is the worst feeling.
Do you remember what you asked me on the drive over here right before we got to Starbucks? No. You said, why do you guys care?
Oh yeah. Yeah, why me? Why are you doing this for me?
Do you know why?
Not really. I mean, I hear you guys say this because you care and because I...
No. Do you want me to tell you why? It's because you want help. You're ready for it, and we're here for you. You want help, and that's the hardest thing. We're not going to force you to do anything. We can't. You're a human being with free will. But you said, I could entertain a change. I could have a purpose again. I could find a purpose. And we saw that, and we see you, and we believe you. And we believe in you. And even if you misstep 50 times in this process, we believe in you. You're worth saving. You're a lovely person, and you're going to come out of this, and you're going to help other people. I know it. You have a purpose. You will find it.
When I talked to you yesterday, right, and I said, I watched you when I said, my daughter's 12, and going through what you started at the age of 12, right, younger, older, whatever, I know you would do what you could do to stop someone from doing and having your children, right? That is what I do. See, I don't ever want anyone to go through what I went through during my life. And you were the one right there, and I think you've gone through way more hell than I'll ever go through. You are freaking strong, okay? And I care so much, and I know you have a story, and you matter, okay? If nothing else out of this, you matter to me, right? That is, I can't imagine what you've done. You know, your arms, I have that, okay? So I know, when I took one look, I know what you felt, what you go through.
Yeah.
I don't want you to ever feel like that again.
Which isn't necessarily...
And it will happen.
Yeah.
It will. I'm not saying it's not gonna. I don't ever want you to be stuck in that situation. I still get that place, but I don't do it today. There's other things I can do to not take that knife. You're hurting too much.
My bad. Yeah, I
I
need to
see
sit
it.
down. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna sit down.
That's why I wiggle.
Okay, we're gonna